So it's back to school from this week, after nearly 5 months.
It's been a long time, but so it's going to be all Star Wars from now on.
What do you mean? May the hand sanitizer be with you?
No, like kids, please wear a mask. Remember what happened to Darth Vader when he took his off, yeah.
You know what I thought you were going to say?
What?
Luke, I am your lather. Get it? Hand, washing, soap, lather. Welcome to the Shabby And Man podcast. We are partners, parents, podcasters, broadcasters.
And everything else in between.
And we have to start our podcast today with the biggest piece of news, at least for the two of us.
What was that?
In the last 2 weeks.
So many exciting things happen every week.
No, but it has to be come on. This is something that's never happened to us ever in our lives, and I doubt it if it's going to happen again. You know what I'm talking about.
What?
Watching a movie preview with Tom Cruise and not even knowing it.
Oh, yes.
How crazy was that?
Well, good job he tweeted so that we knew when we walked out of the cinema.
That it was him who was in the cinema. Let's just explain to those who are listening what exactly happened. Do you want to?
No, you explain it. We went to see a preview one day before it was released of a Hollywood movie.
That's right. We went to see Christopher Nolan's latest thriller, Tenet. It was a very swanky invite from Warner Brothers. And, the penny didn't drop when they sent me so many emails, because first the invite arrived, then they wanted to know whether I had a plus one, and then, details of a plus one and all of that. And I thought it was just normal procedure. That's how it's going to be, in the new normal. But we went there, we watched the movie, and we all had to wear a mask, and it was socially distanced, and everything was fine. And it was only after we finished watching it.
We had to give our phones in.
Yes, we had to bag up our phones. We were not allowed to...
take photos.
Yeah. And it was only after the preview, when we came home, we saw Tom Cruise had put up a video of him being driven around London in a cab, arriving at IMAX, which is a fantastic theatre, watching it with us, and then giving his opinion on.
The strange thing was that there was these security. We should have twigged. There were these security guys, milling around, walking up and down with binoculars.
Yeah.
The infrared kind of binoculars.
Yes.
And I thought, this is, really serious.
Yeah. They really want to make sure we're wearing our masks and using our hand sanitizers. But that was really exciting.
And you know what should have given the game away?
Yeah.
Then one guy in a row in front of us had a phone in his hand.
Yes. I know.
But then I suppose he was Mr. Cruise.
Mr. Cruise, he was. What did you actually think of the movie? Let me ask you this. It's quite funny. A lot of people are calling it Tenet. It's not Tenet, Kiraida. It's Tenet. And then, we were having a chat as well.
I worked out that you can spell it backwards and forwards. What's the word again?
A palindrome.
Palindrome.
It is a palindrome. And it is about time travel backwards and
forwards. I always
forwards.
get confused between palindromes and spoonerism. Spoonerism is like Friar Tuck.
Yeah. Okay, I get it. But palindrome is a man, a plan, a canal, Panama, which is exactly the same backwards as well. But, so Tenet, we were saying that, don't you say tenets of the Bible? It just simply means a doctrine or, a religious philosophy. And if you Google the word, it's quite hilarious. Google says people who've searched for Tenet meaning, which is what I did, just to make sure that I know the right meaning. They also search for what is a tenet? How do you use tenet in a sentence? And what is a symptom for a tenet? I don't know what they think it is. But what did you think of the film? Are you a huge Christopher
First explain
Nolan
what
fan?
it means. I'm still no wiser. What is tenet?
It means a philosophy.
It means a philosophy.
A principle or a doctrine or a philosophy. That's all it means. For me, it was one of those experiences where it could have passed off as a Bollywood film. Not because it had Dimple Kapadia. That's a different thing altogether.
Talking about Dimple Kapadia, what did you make of her accent?
Yeah, I really was a little confused. I know a lot of people are going gaga over, especially Asians, saying, oh, she was so good. Yes, she was good, but she's a great actress. I think anyone in her position, anyone who's done the kind of roles Dimple Kapadia has, would have really done it with their eyes closed. And so, no surprises there. But mujhe laga personally ki Dimple Kapadia's accent was... Because she was in an international film, I think she was a little undecided on whether she wanted to do a British accent or an American accent or a posh Indian clipped accent. It was a mishmash of all three. That's what I felt. Because normally when she speaks in English, in so many films that we love her in, Dil Chahta Hai just being one of them, she speaks like the rest of us do in India. But this was a slightly strange accent. And a film, I did not understand the film.
Did you ask me what I thought of the movie?
Yes.
Because it was in the IMAX, which is the biggest screen you can get, it was exhilarating to watch.
Yeah.
Especially that boat ride, the catamaran ride.
Yes.
That was amazing.
All the scenes on the water were really, really
But
amazing.
did I understand the movie? Well, I don't really know if I did. Maybe I'll have to watch it again.
Yeah.
I mean, I got
Even
the
with
gist.
subtitles?
I got the gist. But you really have to concentrate hard
Yeah.
to know exactly what's going on, I think.
Even I got the gist, but the disappointing thing for me was, and I wouldn't call it disappointing, it's just that I'm not a sci-fi kind of a person. But just when I thought all the pieces were falling in place, and JD, as he's called, John David Washington, General Washington's son, who is the
Denzel's,
star.
yeah.
Denzel's son. Just when you thought, we were getting to the end of the game, you kind of told me, no, don't worry about it. We've got another hour to go. And I said, what? Another hour of this? So we don't know what we made of it, but it was really touching to see the guy from Warner Brothers, who we now know in hindsight was addressing Tom Cruise and not the rest of us. But he made a beautiful speech on Welcome Back to the Cinemas.
This is the first movie back, so...
It is the first big international...
Fingers crossed, but I believe it was so expensive to make that it has to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
There have to be a lot of bums on seats for it to... make a huge hit. Yeah.
Make a huge hit.
Be a huge hit.
But they did, it was quite emotional to hear him talk about Welcome Back to the Cinema. And because we were socially distanced, so all the rows had, empty seats in between. And he said, this is what the new Full House is going to look like.
This is the new norm.
This is the new norm. And so in that respect, I think it was really emotional and really wonderful. Those of us who are in a position to even, go to the cinema safely, I think we should count ourselves lucky, because the world is really dealing with a pandemic that we've not seen ever before. And there are people who are in a far worse condition, right?
And I think because Christopher Nolan is British, he released it here first. I think it's releasing in America and other markets next week.
Possibly next week,
And I think it took 53 million in its opening weekend, which is not bad.
On the plus side, we can't give out any spoilers because we have no idea how to give the spoilers.
Yeah, anyone can go and watch it now. It's out in the cinema.
Yes. Now, since we're talking about movies, let's also get the other stuff that we watched on TV out of the way.
My God, this week was an exception for us, wasn't it? We watched a lot of stuff.
We watched a lot of stuff. For us, it is a lot of stuff. Suitable Boy. So Suitable Boy concluded last Sunday, Monday. We caught up with it a few days later.
And don't worry, all of you who haven't seen it, it's going to be on Netflix, I think, at the end of September.
Yeah. What did you make of it?
I enjoyed the last two episodes, especially episode 5. It suddenly went up a gear. It got more exciting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that 6 episodes are probably not enough to cover such a hefty
600,000 words nearly.
Yeah, I mean, lots of stories were left as minor characters.
Yeah.
If you go to the village and all.
Yeah.
Vijay Raz's character was hardly...
Vijay Varma. Even Vijay Raz. Incidentally, Vijay Raz was playing Vijay Varma's dad. Do you know that? They're both Vijays.
Yes.
So, and it's strange because a lot of people read the book. Then a lot of them, like us, were lucky enough to hear the audio play, which was also audio version done by the BBC 20 years ago. And now this is the third version that we are looking at. But I don't know about you, but I actually heard the audiobook first. And after that, I got the book and I read the book as well. And exactly as you're saying, there's no way you can distill 600 words into 6 hours of television time. Absolutely no way. A couple of things I want to mention. That when I started out, I did not like Lata's mother's character at all. She may be a fantastic actor, but I thought she was horrendously miscast as Mrs. Verma. By the time the last 2 episodes rolled along, I'd really warmed to the characters. And as you're saying, a lot happens in the last 2 episodes, right? So that did move me.
I mean, they had to pack a lot in.
But I did feel 2 things. Firstly, even Lata's character, being a protagonist here, Lata was, Tanya Maniktala is beautiful. And she's been dressed beautifully and she really captures the essence of Lata. But still, what you see is a tip of the iceberg. In the book, Lata is meant to be this charming, beguiling, beautiful girl. There's a reason why she has so many suitors. Here, all she does is look pretty, wear pretty saris and just smile.
But she has...
Oh, I like him.
But she does have a lovely smile.
She does have a lovely smile. But, and even when Kabir is asked, why do you like her? Because she's Lata. There is so much more to her than just her beautiful looks, which doesn't come across in this at all. I think that was a bit of a cheat. But... saying that, we've discovered new characters. I'm a huge fan of Vijay Varma since I saw him in Gully Boy. He is emerging as one of Bollywood's very, very competent supporting ensemble cast members. And he had a minor character here, but I think he played it exceedingly well.
when you talk about Vikram Seth books, automatically Salman Rushdie comes to my mind as well, because Midnight's Children, I never completed the book. I always remember I had it and I never finished it. But I went to see a play in the Barbican with Kulvinder Gir, the guy from Goodness Gracious Me. So I saw the play, so I knew what the story was. And then I saw the movie. The movie came out a couple of years ago as well.
I saw the movie with you. Remember, we watched the movie together. Yeah.
So if you haven't read the book, this is probably a good way of getting a gist of what the story is.
Yeah.
But books are always better.
And you're right. Another reason why Vikram Seth and Salman Rushdie more often than not are virtually thought of together in the same breath, mentioned in the same breath. I think that's because a lot of the times the two of them have been pitted against one another every time their books have come out. So Vikram Seth releases one, and within a couple of months Salman Rushdie will have another one. So immediately there'd be that tussle for the number one spot on best-selling lists all over the world, right? The New York Times and bestsellers lists here and all of that. So I think that's another reason why they have even otherwise, as a marketing strategy, Vikram Seth and Salman Rushdie's careers have kind of followed a similar pattern. Okay, what about Masaba? That's another one which you were not interested in at all. I wanted to watch it purely for two reasons, because I follow Neena Gupta on Instagram. I think she's fantastic.
Tell everyone else what Masaba is first.
Why don't you tell everyone what Masaba is?
Well, it's based...
Until I sip a glass of water.
It's based on Masaba Gupta, Neena Gupta's daughter, who is a fashion designer.
She doesn't call herself Masaba Gupta, by the way, Masaba. She's a bit like Madonna in Sting, Masaba.
I saw in the credits Masaba Gupta, I thought.
Really?
Oh, maybe I didn't.
Maybe her label is just Masaba. Okay.
And it was very light, frothy. It was obviously a bit fictionalized and over the top and tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
It was quite funny. It was, as the Hindi word goes, time pass.
Yeah. And it is mother and daughter playing mother and daughter, and it's a fictionalized version of their life.
And of course, I love Neena Gupta's character.
Yeah.
Because you and me both have grown up watching Saas and The Weakest Link.
Yeah. Kamzor Kadi Kaun, and then we've seen her in Badhai Ho and films like that.
I haven't seen Badhai Ho, actually.
Have you not seen? No. I've seen Badhai Ho. And I was saying to you only the other day that the reason I enjoy following Neena Gupta on social media is because, she's one of those people who's always guilty of too much information. And you said that's exactly the reason why you like, who's the presenter on BBC London who you're a big fan of. Right?
I like people.
Yeah. Who reveal a lot of themselves. Yeah. Sometimes too much information.
It's nice.
But then you think that's what makes them fascinating, right? That's what gives you an insight into their personal lives. Neena Gupta is exactly like that. So in the lockdown, Neena Gupta is married to someone who lives in Delhi. So she has quite a bohemian marriage to start with. Not just the fact that she had a child out of wedlock. She had a well-publicized affair with Vivian Richards. She had Masaba.
Sir Viv Richards.
But the fact that, she raised her independently. Mother and daughter live in Mumbai. She's married to someone who lives in Delhi. They have a holiday home in the hills in Mukteshwar. So she makes her videos. She does these videos on Instagram.
You know so much about her.
Yeah, because of Instagram.
I'm saying that's one of the good things.
And she makes me laugh because she talks about things that other actresses would not dare talk about, even if they're grappling with the same issues. So she'll say, "हाँ देखो अभी लॉकडाउन में मेरे बाल भी अभी देखो कितने पार्लर में तो जा नहीं सकते हैं, यहाँ पे सारे वाइट हो रहे हैं, मैं सोच रही हूँ क्या करूँ, थोड़ा सा काजल लगा दूँ या मैं आपको एक टिप देती हूँ." So it's like any auntie G speaking.
Why are you sounding like Asian radio presenters?
Because I am very proud to be an Asian radio presenter myself, and I always do a voice when I'm talking about somebody else as somebody else, but she is hilarious. So yeah, even I thought it was time pass. It was good fun, and I think
it's very light and frothy.
Yeah, but I think what everyone's saying unanimously is that if the aim of the show was to tell the world how good an actress Masaba is, then they've clearly achieved
she was good. Actually.
She's an actress. Her mom is obviously a trained actor from NSD and FTII and all of that, I think. Either one or the other or both. But she is a natural. She's a complete natural.
Was Neena Gupta in that Choli Ke Piche?
Yeah, she was.
She was in it.
There's a lot of people who know her only from Choli Ke Piche and not from all the other initial, early films that he did for Shyam Benegal and all, Trikal. And she's been in some very, very arty, hugely admired films. So she is a serious actress, and as she says, we saw a bit of it in the series as well, that she famously put out a tweet, or was it a post on Instagram?
That's a true story,
4 years ago, saying that women of my age are not getting any parts. Guys, we are here, we are available, we are competent. At least give us a chance. And that eventually led to Badhai Ho and Shubh Mangal, Zyada Savdhan and all of that. So yeah, we've been watching a lot of television. What else?
By the way, that is on. If anyone wants to watch it, it is on Netflix.
Yeah. And we were also talking about, what else were we talking about?
You were saying something about AK in movies, Ayushmann Khurrana.
Joining forces with...
We're doing a lot of movies today, aren't we? Tom Cruise, this, that. So
I was saying AK versus AK, Abhishek Kapoor versus Ayushmann Khurrana. Two people I love.
No, but you said he's doing some sports kind of drama.
No, that sports kind of drama he's doing with somebody else. Oh. That is not with Abhishek Kapoor.
Because I heard you say AK is doing a sports drama. So I thought AK could be Amir Khan as Lagan, or Dangal, or it could be Akshay Kumar in Gold, or it could be Arjun Kapoor in...
research kiya hai.
Arjun Kapoor, forget that one.
Yeah. So, but there's so many. I know, even I've just realized there are so many AKs in Bollywood. But Ayushmann and Abhishek Kapoor coming together, because Abhishek Kapoor has made Fitur, which is my favorite film.
Great Expectations.
His interpretation of it.
I think every time you mention it on air, you mention the word Great Expectations.
He's done Kedarnath as well.
Is it Miss Havisham?
Miss Havisham.
Yeah.
Tabu playing Miss Havisham, as it happens. Tabu playing Saida Bai in Suitable Boy. Tabu playing Miss Havisham in Fitur. And he's done Kedarnath also. Abhishek Kapoor has directed Kedarnath. And do you know that he's actually related to Jitendra? He's Jitendra's sister's son.
That's why you get paid what you do. I don't know these things.
Yeah. So there you
go. What
I
didn't know was that... I forgot his name now. Who's directing?
Describe him.
No, Shekhar Kapoor. It's just come back to me. Shekhar Kapoor is Dev Anand's nephew.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
He is Dev Anand's
recently.
nephew. And his dad was my
yes, we know.
Pediatrician once upon a time in Delhi.
Yeah, what does that mean? He looked after your feet, or he's a child doctor?
No, I was a kid, and I don't know what it was that my mom and dad took me. I was 6 months old probably. But Dr. Kapoor was a very, very rated, very respected, highly qualified pediatrician in Delhi. And my mom always, I've told this story so many times, that,
he was here studying...
he was studying here.
He was studying accountancy or something.
Chartered accountancy, and he'd just gone back to India. And every time he'd be hanging around in the clinic, all the nurses would be like, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, that's Dr. Kapoor's son, England returned son kind of thing.
And as I always say, that one of the first movies he made was set in my boarding school.
Yeah.
Called Masoom with Nasuddin Shah, who was an ex-pupil from there.
Yeah. In fact, he wrote about it. He put it on Instagram only the other day. Shekhar Kapoor put a photograph of your dorm.
Did he?
And said that, he said something beautiful actually. He said that I never went to boarding school, so I don't know what it's like. But to me, it sounds like something which would be quite terrifying and quite, daunting for kids of that age. And that's why when I wanted to portray the loneliness of a child, which is what Masoom was about, a child being abandoned by his own father, I set those scenes in a boarding school because I felt that, it would kind of enhance the mood and kind of add to the narrative. So there you go.
Shall we end on a serious note?
Which is?
I was reading the papers yesterday, day before, and I believe that the coronavirus has really rocketed in India.
It has.
It's like, I think it broke a record yesterday or something.
Yeah.
The most
number of cases testing positive in a single day. It's now third highest in the world behind America and Brazil.
Yeah, it's they say it's going to be number 2 soon.
Yeah. And for us personally, I think it's very poignant because your mom and dad have been in India for the last 8-9 months.
They've been stuck there.
They've been stuck there.
They're supposed to come back in April,
I think, because they always spend winters there, and they're lucky that by God's grace they have a place of their own, and they're
and Maharashtra, where they are in Pune, it's quite high there.
Hotbeds, it's one of the hubs. And my mom and dad have been in Bangalore. We were all set to fly out to India this summer. That hasn't happened, and I feel that because of this, I don't know when I'm going to see them next. So for both sets of parents, for both of us, family not being with you or being further away, especially when they're parents of a certain age, you worry about them and you want them safe, where they belong, where their home is. So it's we don't know what it's going to be like. As we mentioned at the start, kids back at school, debates still raging on about how it should be, whether the government is doing the right thing, whether schools are prepared.
Is there going to be a second wave?
How is it going to work? If one kid tests positive, does it mean the entire class being put on quarantine? It's a tough one for everyone. Yeah, so wherever you're listening to us, wherever in the world you are right now, please stay safe for your sake, for the sake of those you love. And I think it just feels all
do the things that you're supposed to do. Wash your hands.
Do the right thing. Absolutely.
Be socially distant. Actually, that just reminds me, just before we wrap up, I've been hearing you do a lot of interviews with noted doctors
Yes.
and experts on these issues.
Yeah.
So even in this country, in England,
Even in
they're
this
taking
country,
it very
in fact,
seriously
the government
now.
has taken an initiative to make sure that, on all, especially because BAME ethnic minorities, we are more susceptible. It has been proved statistically, right? So we are going out of our way to make people aware of what social distancing is, how it works, and how this should really become second nature now. Because in the foreseeable future, for a long, long time, we have to maintain social distancing. We have to be diligent about hand washing.
They're saying there may not be vaccines till early...
For a long time,
early next year.
So this is not something that, anybody should feel awkward about, either wearing a mask or asking somebody else to wear a mask. If you're with me and we're outside in a space where we need to be, I shouldn't feel hesitant to tell you that, listen, it is your duty now. It's not, it's for your sake and for the sake of those you love, those around you, right? So to take the stigma away and to make it as normal as possible. Exactly as, like when we step out of the house, you make sure you have your keys, you have your wallet, you have your phone. In the same way, all of us have to now make sure that, hand sanitizer and mask is also a part of that checklist every time we are out, or every time we are in a scenario within a confined space where we need to wear a mask. We should be doing that.
So, till next time, stay safe.
Stay safe and follow us on all the usual platforms, and we'll see you again very soon. Rather, you will hear us again very soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.